Reading, Day 2. Today's story is called Witch's Loaves. Miss Martha Mitchum kept the little bakery on the corner. Miss Martha was worth 40. Her bank book showed a credit of $2,000, and she possessed two false teeth and sympathetic heart. 2 or 3 times a week, a customer came in to buy some bread. He was a middle-aged man wearing spectacles and a broad beard. He spoke English with a strong German accent. His clothes were worn and darned in places, but he looked neat and had very good manners. He always bought 2 loaves of stale bread. Fresh bread was 5 cents a loaf. Stale ones were 2 for 5. Once Miss Martha saw a red and brown stain on his fingers. She was sure then that he was an artist and very poor. No doubt he lived in a garret where he painted pictures and ate stale bread. When Miss Martha sat down to dinner and tea, she used to sigh and think of the poor artist and feel sorry for him. Miss Martha's heart was a sympathetic one. In order to test her theory, she brought from her room one day a painting that she had bought at the sale and hung it on the wall of her bakery. It was a Venetian scene. A splendid marble palace stood in the foreground. For the rest, there were gondolas with a lady training her hand in the water, clouds, sky. 2 days afterward, the customer came in. 2 loaves of stale bread, if you please. Please. You have here in a fine picture. Madame, he said while he was wrapping up the bread. Yes, says Miss Martha. Do you think it is a good picture? The palace, said the customer, is not the good drawing. The perspective, it says. The perspective of it is not true. Thank you, madame. He took his bread, bowed, and hurried out. Yes, he must be an artist. Miss Martha took the picture back to her room. How gently and kindly his eyes shone behind his spectacles. What a broad brow he had. What a broad brow he had. Genius often has to struggle. He saw the perspective at once. She wanted to help him, to keep house for him, to share with him all the good things she had in her bakery, maybe even $2,000. But these were daydreams, Miss Martha. Often now, when he came, he talked to her for a few minutes, but he bought only stale bread as before. Never a cake, never a pie, no one of her delicious sweets. She thought he began to look thinner and discouraged. Her heart wished to add something good to eat to his meagerage purchase, but she didn't dare, confront him. She knew the pride of artists. Miss Martha began to wear her new blue silk dress. She also began to use some cream in order to make her face a little more beautiful. One day the customer came in as usual, laid his nickel, 5 cents, on the showcase and asked for his stale loaves. While Miss Martha was getting them there from the shelf, the siren of a fire engine was heard. The customer hurried to the door to look. Miss Martha seized the opportunity. On the bottom shelf behind the counter was a pound of fresh butter that the dairyman had left 10 minutes before. With a bread knife, Miss Martha made a deep cut in each of the stale loaves, inserted a big piece of butter, and pressed the loaves tight again. When the customer turned from the door, she was tying the paper around them. When he had gone, after an unusually pleasant little chat, Miss Martha smiled to herself. She was thinking about her deed. Had she the right to do such a thing? Will he feel offended? But surely not. They're just butter, nothing more. She imagined this scene when he discovers her little deception. He will lay down his brushes and palette. He will lay down his brushes and palette. He will prepare for his luncheon of dry bread and water. He will cut into a loaf. Ah. Miss Martha blushed. Will he think of the hand that placed the butter in the bread? Will he? The front door bell jangled viciously. Somebody was coming in, making a great deal of noise. Miss Martha hurried to the door. 2 men were there. One was a young man, smoked a pipe, and the man she had never seen before. One was a young man smoking a pipe, a man she had never seen before. The other was her artist. His face was very red, and his head was on the back of his head. He clenched his two first fists and shocked them ferociously at Miss Martha. Damn no, she shouted with the extreme loudness. And then Tausend Donfer, or something like in German. The young man tried to drive him away. I will not go, he said angrily. You have spoiled my work. He cried, but his blue eyes blazing behind his spectacles. I will tell you. You're meddlesome old cat. Miss Martha leaned weakly against the shelves and laid one hand on her blue silk dress. The young man took the other by the collar. "Come on," he said. "You said enough." He dragged the angry one out at the door to the sidewalk and then came back. "I want to explain," he said. "That's Blumberger. Blumberger. He's architectural draftsman. Architectural draftsman. I work in the same office with him. He has worked hard for 3 months drawing a plan for a new city hall. It was a prize competition. He finished inking the lines yesterday. You know, a draftsman always makes his drawing in pencil first. After that, he inks the line. When it's done, he rubs out the pencil lines. When it's done, he rubs out the pencil lines with the stale bread. That's better than Indian rubber." Blumberger has bought his bread here. The bread here. Well, today he tried to rub out the pencil lines of his plan with the bread he bought in your bakery. You know, madame, that butter isn't good for paper. And well, Blumberger's plan can now be used only as a paper for railroad sandwiches. Miss Martha went into the black room. She took off the blue silk dress and put on the old brown serge she was wearing before. That's it. See you tomorrow.